Good evening, YouTubers. Before I get started, I'm using a rather rubbishy tablet to film this, so I'm not using a tripod because I've got a bit of moving around to do, and also my daughter's tablet, which is far superior to this one, is not playing tonight. It just refuses to download any videos that I do and accept any passwords, so I'm resorting to this one just to get the video up. Anyway, my 1815 project. I've done quite a few infantry units now, and I decided a while ago that after doing about the second one that I was going to take a break and just do something to break up the monotony of painting red coats. So I decided I would either make a building or buy one. And looking at it, I thought, well, no, I've got enough books and information out there on this particular battlefield, and I've been there, visited the battlefield quite a bit, and been around in all the little villages, surrounding areas, and I just thought, well, it'd be nice to do something that someone else hasn't got. So I decided I'd have a go at scratch building, which I haven't done before, especially in tournaments. So I didn't know where to start really. I knew I needed a template, a plan, and a material. So foam board, Kellogg's cornflake boxes. It sounds a bit like Blue Peter, I know, but all the bits and pieces that you'd need to sort of put stuff together, a building together. I did a drawing, a plan, and made some templates and sketched those out onto the foam board. And I apologise for the noise of the polystyrene. Let's turn that a bit for you. And I came up basically with this. Yeah, the foam board is really quite a nice material to work with. I was able to cut the template of the actual frame of the building out and pin it together using dressmaker's pins to check the fit and the size to make sure everything was level. And then I glued it with Yoo-hoo glue. I was going to use a hot glue gun, but it melted. It was a bit too hot. I haven't got a temperature control on my glue gun, so I decided to go for the glue option, which worked quite well, except I couldn't get my pins back out afterwards, which wasn't too much of a problem. The windows are, the two bottom windows and the windows at the rear of the property are both resin. The doors balsa wood. The two upper windows are made of tile spacers, plastic tile spacers that are used for tile decorating. That's roughly about all the materials I've got really. The whole thing, once I constructed it, was the walls were coated with Tetron with a bit of PVA glue mixed in and liberally painted all over the door lintels, around the window frames, and to the rear of the property, over the wall in the yard at the rear of the property, which you'll see in a moment. And before it completely set, I just gave it a light stippling with a stiff brush, just to add a bit of texture to it. As for the tiles on the roof, they were constructed in the time-honoured manner of cutting strips of card, cutting in each tile with a pair of scissors, and then elongating some of those cuts with a scalpel, or making little breaks in the tile to make it look like a bit of wear and tear. And of course there's the odd tile that have come loose, which someone needs to repair before the water starts coming in. So they were all glued down in strips. I think that technique sort of goes back to Games Workshop when they, or even before then. I dare say like people like Stan Catchpole, if you remember the old military modelling, and Ian Weekly of Battlements. They were publishing these sort of techniques in military modelling at that period. So I never thought I'd ever use those things. I wish I'd kept the magazines with them all in now, but yeah, and it does work. I was quite surprised how well it did go together. So I'll just show you the rear of the property. Apologies for the noise that the polystyrene's making. Right, okay, focusing. Like I say, this camera is not very good compared to the other one. So yeah, I've put a couple of 95th rifle, and it's actually the officers are looking rather startled at the camera there. Just as to give you an idea of scale of the building. It is a one-off. This is a standalone model, and it probably with a couple of other cottages of a similar size would represent a hamlet for this scale of battlefield, or you can just have it on its own really. That's why I built it this size, and I can use it for other periods and bolt actions and such like. The actual painting of the building, I've used very large cheap the bottles of acrylic. You can get the student's acrylic, so it was liberally daubed with white, a little off-white with some sand added to it, and some grey. And then the actual shading that you can see was done. I had an old Winsor & Newton tin of watercolours, the little plastic tablets inside. Now, a close friend of mine at Shrewsbury War Game Society, who's been doing these sort of buildings since time immemorial, and is absolutely an artist at doing these, recommended that I use watercolours to do the shading, because they're a little bit more subtle than the acrylics that we paint our figures with. They don't need to be thinned down so much. You can apply really thin washes and build up shading around the windows and around the door areas and on the tiles. So I had a go with it, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing the painting side of it. It's like the bricks. I even used a bit of it on the brickwork where it's been destroyed at the front. The rubber bit, incidentally, is hardcore foam, which I have literally chopped up into brick size chunks and glued to where the wall's been damaged, and at the foot of the wall as well. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed doing the painting side of things. It was very fun to do. The actual base inside the yard, I shall remove the 295th fellas, they're evicted. Let that focus. Right, yeah, plasticard for the large stone flags, and raided the kitchen cupboard and used lentils for the cobbles, which weren't that exciting to do when you have to do a lot of them. And I should imagine any future projects requiring large cobbled areas will give me hours of fun and enjoyment. Right, yeah, but once they're down and they're painted, you paint them different colours and the sands. I'd put a light PVA sand mixture to blend it all together, to bind it all together. Added a few buckets, barrel, and so forth. Yeah, quite pleased with how it looks. A bit of foliage on the side there, a bit of bush. I don't know what it is. Sort of, could be any sort of miniature rose or something that's clambering up the side of the building. That's like railway materials that you can buy, model railway stuff. So, yeah, all told, it took about 3 or 4 days to put together, and I have to say I'm going to have a go at another one. Maybe another cottage to go with this one. I'm really inspired by the picture of Plansoir with the Prussians storming in through the village. There's that famous painting with the old guard huddled into the windows and into every nook and cranny, waiting to, try and hold them off. So that was the inspiration for this particular model. And I think after I've done the next 2 battalions, which I'm working on now, which are almost finished, I will definitely be starting another building, or maybe I might just trick myself and do an artillery piece. I've got some nice things to. I always find treating yourself to something nice in between really it does make it so monotonous then. Anyway, I'm going to keep this to under 10 minutes because it has difficulties downloading. So I'm glad to see you, or the community, doing really well. Lots of brilliant videos going up and seeing everyone else's work. It looks really good to see everyone's work. Anyone's got any comments they'd like to make about this building, or any hints and tips that for future, or any buildings you think might look good, give us a shout, and I look forward to hearing and seeing you all soon on your videos. So keep up the good work, everyone else out there with their projects, and bye for now. Bye.